Coming up next on WBTV's special presentation, United We Walk 2001, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Our celebration begins with our candlelighting vigil from West Bloomfield High School here on WBTV. United We Walk 2001. Welcome to the Candlelighting Vigil program, held Sunday, January 14th at 7 p.m. at West Bloomfield High School for United We Walk 2001.
On behalf of the United We Walk Committee, all of whose names I will not read tonight, you can read them in the program tomorrow, I welcome you to this kickoff event for this year's Martin Luther King United We Walk celebration, challenged by the dream beyond differences. Tonight's program, if you will watch it closely, involves a number of activities. A number of people will be presenting things for you to help start your thinking as we move into this celebration of Martin Luther King's birthday and remember his call for us to be united as a people. You heard Michael play We Are One, and it's part of our theme for this evening. You will also be privileged to hear the African Drum and Dance Corps from Pontiac. We have a dramatic reading that will be part of tonight's program. At the end, you become the program. A little different this year. Some of you have been here on previous years, and we have had a candlelighting ceremony. It's been a wonderful thing, except it didn't work. And we want it to work tonight. We want you to be able to carry a light slightly beyond the doorway out into tonight, into the darkness. So as you leave tonight, you'll be given a glow stick, and you'll be given some instructions. And as you leave, we hope that you will light your glow stick and then move out into the porch area and form a circle at the end of tonight. Carry the light of our hopes and our dreams into the night and into the new day tomorrow. At this time, I would like Stuart Brickner to come forward, and while he's coming up, I have to make one plug. There are t-shirts. The United We Walk t-shirts are available. You're encouraged to wear them tomorrow if you're here for the ceremony, under probably some other things as we walk outside, but the t-shirts will be available at the table. They're $5 each. It's one of the ways that you can help support the program. Stuart Brickner, who is our co-chair. Stuart.
Thank you, Reverend Robertson. On behalf of the United We Walk Committee, I want to welcome you to this memorial service. It's become a tradition with our committee every year to honor Dr. King with the memorial service before we begin our program tomorrow, the actual walk and the program that we have. I think it's fitting that we have a memorial service and a candlelighting ceremony because it symbolizes the spirit of Dr. King. It energizes us with the spirit of the lighting of the candle, and it's the dream that energizes us to go forward to next year. And with that, enjoy the program.
I just want to let you know that although on the program for this evening it mentions my name as somebody giving remarks, I don't want to scare anyone off. I won't speak for long because I believe that the other pieces of our program are perhaps far more important than any words that I could share with you, because they bring together students and parents, family members, and community members together in a way that no words that I could say would help you to understand Dr. King's message. And so I bring you just brief words of his dream and our dream. When we sit here tonight, members of a community, people of different backgrounds, different ethnic and racial creeds, we find ourselves understanding our lives in a way that even I, as a rabbi, am unfamiliar with. Earlier this week, I had the wonderful opportunity to sit with Dr. Ronald Landfair and learn about the process of making Dr. King's message work in our world. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll have a chance to be together as community members talking about that dream, helping one another understand who we are and why we stand here, why we participate in the lives of our community. And one of the things we learned as a group of discussion leaders is the difference between racism and culturalism. You see, I believe that all of us tonight would raise our hands and suggest that we are not racists. I am not a racist. You are not racists. And yet, all of us harbor within our souls fears, misunderstandings, and difficulties with someone whom we call the other. You see, some of us are men. Some of us are women, some African American, some white, some Jewish, some Christian. All of us have definitions that explain who we are as people. And even though we no longer define ourselves by racism, we most certainly define ourselves by our culture, by the differences that separate us. That is why if you walk from time to time into groups in the malls or in our high schools or in office places, you find different racial groups sitting together. You find different cultural nuances seeking one another out for companionship and camaraderie. Those groups, those separations, are today's reality of Dr. King's problem. And so tonight, the solution is clear. By coming together as a community, we make ourselves not only aware of our differences, but aware of the way we can honor those differences. By coming together tonight, we look at each other and at our community and understand that this is an incredibly beautiful world in which we live. This is an incredibly wonderful place to be alive. That is Dr. Martin Luther King's dream for all of us, to be aware of ourselves and to be aware of one another and to honor and to respect and to bring dignity to this community for which all of us strive every day. This is our dream too, and tonight we pray that Dr. King will live on through our actions and our words. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. One of the remarkable things about this event is that students give it its core leadership. You will see a number of us older folk floating around here. But were it not for the dynamic interest and enthusiasm and excitement that the young people of our schools bring to this event, it would not happen. We're privileged tonight to have some of those young people to share with us. And this night, as a part of the symbol of what this event has become, we have someone beyond the West Bloomfield area. Student leaders, where are you? Would you come up and share with us, please?
Good evening. My name is Lauren Gaines, and I'm one of the student co-chairs for the walk. I would like to make a brief assessment of the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It might begin with his personal qualities. Like all of us, King was a complex human being with faults and failings as well as strengths and successes. Perhaps his outstanding characteristic was courage. From the moment he assumed a leadership role in the Montgomery boycott, King was harassed and threatened. He was a sensitive man with a passionate love for life. The thick skin of his public persona masked a wounded spirit. If you have ever written a letter to an editor taking an unpopular stand on an emotional or controversial issue, then you know a little about the fear and discomfort of a threatening phone call or even a hate letter. King lived for 12 years in such a crucible until finally James Earl Ray carried out the threat. It is difficult to appreciate the courage of King's choice to commit himself to freedom and justice and peace. There is something of the suffering servant of the Lord in the life of Martin Luther King Jr. Perhaps the best description of the meaning and purpose of King's life is his own. Anticipating his eulogy, King said, and I quote his words, "I'd like someone to mention that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. I'd like somebody to say that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to love somebody. I want you to say that day that I tried to be right on the war question. I want you to be able to say that day that I did try to feed the hungry. I want you to say that I tried to serve and love humanity. Yes, if you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. I just want to leave a committed life behind." And that he did. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Monica Jones. I am a member of the Student Council at the Laker Academy. I will be reading from The Dream of a Just Community by J. Milburn Thompson, PhD. Dr. King once said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. The true neighbor will risk his position, his prestige, and even his life for the welfare of others. In dangerous valleys and hazardous pathways, he will lift some bruised and beaten brother to a higher and more noble life." We should all try and live our lives by these ultimate words of wisdom. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jasmine Patton, and I am also one of the student co-chairs for United We Walk 2001. Ever since I was a little girl, the name Dr. Martin Luther King has always been said with passion. Throughout my childhood, freedom was introduced to me as a cause worth fighting for, and injustice was not acceptable. In a letter from a Birmingham jail, Dr. King wrote, quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." And that, quote, "Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed." Dr. King emphasized the importance of education for everyone, no matter what race, religion, or color they are. They must obtain all the knowledge they can. He believed that there is no excuse for ignorance. Quote, "Nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscious stupidity." Dr. King was not alone in his journey to fight discrimination. In his speech for the Nobel Peace Prize, Dr. King described his motivation behind his dream. Quote, "I just want to do God's will, and he's allowed me to go to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I am not worried about anything. I am not fearing any man." Dr. King represents equality, peace, love, and honor, all attributes I hope one day someone will use to describe me. This is why I am so pleased and excited to be a part of a program that honors a wonderful man who has such a tremendous legacy. Thank you.
As you can tell, the leadership of this event is in good hands, and you can count on tomorrow being a very exciting day. We hope that you'll be back to share in it. The next portion of our program is slightly mistitled, as you will discover. It says that we're going to have readings by children and youth. Some of the people who will be reading will be pleased to know that they are considered in that category, and you'll know who they are. But we're grateful to the people who are going to participate now in presenting this marvelous reading about how we can move beyond our differences. Ben, if you'll come up and lead us, and if the members of our dramatic team will take their places.
In God's name. After God created the world, all living things on earth were given a name. The plants and the trees, the animals and the fish, and each person, young and old, had a special name. But no one knew the name for God. So each person searched for God's name.
The farmer whose skin was dark like the rich brown earth from which all things grew called God, source of life.
The girl whose skin was as golden as the sun that turned night into day called God, creator of light.
The man who tended sheep in the valley called God, shepherd.
The tired soldier who fought too many wars called God, maker of peace.
The artist who carved figures from the earth's hard stone called God, my rock.
The woman who cared for the sick called God, healer.
Sometimes the people who called God by different names were puzzled. They said, every living thing has a single name. The marigold, pansy and lily, the oak tree, sequoia and pine. God must have a single name that is greater and more wonderful than all other names. Each person thought his name for God was the greatest. Each person thought her name for God was the very best. The farmer who called God source of life said this is the true name for God. And the girl who called God creator of light insisted this is the most splendid name for God. The shepherd, soldier, and artist believed they each had the perfect name for God. But no one listened, least of all, God.
The slave who was freed from bondage called God a redeemer.
The grandfather, whose hair was white with the years, called God Ancient One.
The grandmother, who was bent with age and sorrow, called God Comforter.
The young woman who nursed her newborn son called God Mother.
The young man who held the hand of his baby daughter called God Father.
And the child who was lonely called God Friend.
All the people called God by different names. They tried to tell one another that their name was the best, the only name for God, and that all other names were wrong. But no one listened, least of all God. And so each person kept searching for God's name. Then one day, the person who called God Ancient One, and the one who called God Friend, the one who called God Mother, and the one who called God Father, all the people who called God by a different name came together. They knelt by a lake that was clear and quiet, like a mirror, God's mirror. Then each person who had a name for God looked at the others who had a different name. They looked into God's mirror and they saw their own faces and the faces of all the others. And they called out their names for God all at the same time.
Redeemer.
Source of life.
At that moment, the people knew that all the names for God were good, and no name was better than another. Then all at once their voices came together, and they called God
One.
Everyone listened, most of all, God.
Remember the theme, for we will soon hear it shared with us in music. The next part of our program is very special and new for us this year. This is United We Walk. The group coming is called Bound Together. How appropriate for us tonight as we search for the dream beyond our differences. The group Bound Together from Pontiac.
Just wonderful to be here for Dr. King. Yes. He is so good to us, and it's like we were talking earlier today. He only asked for a little, for everyone to be treated equal and for peace. That's not asking for much. So we're going to pray for Dr. King today, and we hope you will enjoy our performance.
Reverend Robertson, are you going to come up here and do the next stage of that with me? We're going to just... If I could turn your attention away from our dance and African music to the back sides of your pages, we have a litany that I invite you to join with, and I'm just going to make one request about our litany today. Rather than sitting passively and participating only by speaking those words, when it comes to your part, I invite you to read those words with spirit and with energy that represents our dream today. When I went to Montgomery as a pastor, I had not the slightest idea that I would later become involved in a crisis. I neither started the protest nor suggested it. I simply responded to the call of the people for a spokesman. You have to do better than that next time. At that moment, I experienced the presence of the divine as I had never before experienced him. It seemed as though I could hear the quiet assurance of an inner voice saying, "Stand up for righteousness. Stand up for truth. God will be at your side forever." Almost at once, my fears began to pass from me. My uncertainty disappeared. I was ready to face anything. The outer situation remained the same, but God had given me inner calm. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back south with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to stand up for freedom together.
I will not be silent.
Freedom has always been an expensive thing. History is fit testimony to the fact that freedom is rarely gained without sacrifice and self-denial.
I will not be silent.
Every man and woman must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or the darkness of destructive selfishness. This is the judgment. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?
I will not be silent.
The ultimate measure of humankind is not where we stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but where we stand at times of challenge and controversy. The true neighbor will risk his position, his prestige, and even his life for the welfare of others. In dangerous valleys and hazardous pathways, he will lift some bruised and beaten brother to a higher and more noble life.
I will not be silent.
Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. I will not be silent.
Let the echo of what you said ring. But remember, in these moments when you are asked to be silent, to pray for the strength for the time when you should not be silent. To pray for the strength to speak when you see people mistreated, misunderstood, misrepresented. In these moments, you are asked to join in a time of silent and personal meditation on our theme for this year. Challenged by the dream beyond the differences. Think in these moments of some of the differences that you have observed. Differences that divide and separate and keep people from being wholly human as God would have them be. Think of ways in which you can address the boundaries that have been artificially established between people. Think of the ways that you can draw this community together, that like these children, we might be bound together, that we might truly be united when we walk tomorrow in one spirit. Let us join in a moment of silent prayer and thanksgiving for the life of Martin Luther King Jr., for the legacy that we remember and celebrate here this night, and for the fact that this community wills to live beyond our differences. In these common moments of silent meditation and prayer, O God, we are one in our common desire to be children of the one God, brothers and sisters who care for each other. We are one. Candace.
choice to live in love, peace, and harmony. I need you, you need me, we are one. So many voices and each unique, but sung together we make harmony. Brothers and sisters, we're one big family. I need you, you need me, we are one. We are one nation, one voice. Coming together, we make the choice to live in love, peace, and harmony. I need you, you need me, we are one. We all have struggles and loads to bear, but we find comfort in those who care. Just reach out, my friend, my hand will be there. 'Cause I need you and you need me, we are one. We are one nation, one voice. Coming together, we make the choice to live in love, peace, and harmony. I need you, and you need me, we are one. We are one nation, one voice. Coming together, we make the choice to live in love, peace, and harmony. I need you, you need me, we are one.
We can't sing the way Candace can, but we can join our voices together, and we'll ask you now, led by Carmen, to stand and join together in singing We Shall Overcome. And then Shelley Willner will give instructions for how you will go out of this place carrying the light of our hope into a new, we hope, great day tomorrow. Carmen, welcome home.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we'll walk hand in hand someday. We shall all have peace. We shall all have peace. We shall all have peace someday. Oh, deep in my believe we shall all have peace someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we are not afraid someday. God is on our side. God is on our side. God is on our side someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe God is on our side someday.
Again, a brief word of thanks to the people of West Bloomfield High School for the marvelous work they have done in making this program possible this evening. You will be led, after you get your instructions, by the African Dance Corps. They'll lead you out, pick up your light. How to do that?
Okay, this is how we do it. Everyone is going to get one of these as you leave the building, and you are going to snap it. You'll hear a snap, and you're going to shake it, and then you're going to open it. And what happens when you open it? It lights up. Okay?
I
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, as WBTV is proud to present Martin Luther King Jr. United We Walk 2001 across Oakland County. United We Walk 2001, right here on WBTV from West Bloomfield High School, coming up next.